Back in a place called Bradford here. Bradford used to be a nice place. Would you like to guess the kind of person that was running around with a knife in the middle of Bradford? That's right. It's another brown clown with a knife fetish. It's like peanut butter and jelly, isn't it? It's like coffee and cream. Brown clowns gripping a knife. I've never seen something so associated than brown clowns running around with sharp fucking knives, just randomly, indiscriminately stabbing people. And down he goes, tased like a pig. See his hands go up at the end there? Look at that. All I wanted was to send some people to Allah. All I wanted was to kill some infidels. Knifeman tasered in front of horrified shoppers after ignoring requests by police to drop the knife. They never drop the knife. They're fused. They're fused together. They will never drop the knife. Dramatic scenes unfold in Bradford this morning as a man refused to put down a knife in front of shoppers. 10:59 a.m. Police received a report of a man in Tyrrell Street, Bradford, who was said to be carrying a knife. They're all carrying knives. That one just happened to have it in his hand. Officers with tasers were...
It says I'm still streaming. I am fucking sick of this app, bro. How long am I gonna sit here while OBS is fucking me? Like, my internet connection is fine until I start streaming specifically this. What's going on? I can stream video games. I can stream me talking shit and drinking alcohol. But as soon as I start streaming political stuff, it starts doing this. Of course. Well, here we are in a Britain where these fuckers, these fuckers are allowed in en masse and paid for their housing, their bills, their food, their children, their multiple wives. Everything is paid for by the taxpayer so they can kill and rape and kidnap women and children. How long are the left going to allow this? How long are the left going to say, oh, there's these Muslims, there's no freedom of immigration? I'll tell you how long. Until it affects them. They don't give a shit until it's at their doorstep. Then all of a sudden it's a problem. Then all of a sudden, what's the government doing to put these people on my doorstep? What's this government thinking? All of a sudden, all of a sudden, all the while, for the last 20 years, it's been happening to working class families all across the country. Not only did you not say anything, not only did you not care, but you covered it up. In fact, you went a step further than that and said it was a good thing. And as soon as fuck off. My gated community consists, excuse me, my gated community consists of nothing but middle-aged white people who water the grass in their front garden and take their dog on a walk. As soon as a migrant comes into my gated community and commits an atrocity, then all of a sudden, what on earth is our government doing? What on earth is our police force doing to allow this to happen? What do you mean? You voted for it. And even though it happened outside your house, you're going to continue to vote for it until it kills you, which it will, because the nature of communism, the nature of socialism, the nature of Marxism is they eat their own. And not only do they eat their own, they eat their own first. How long are women going to have to walk home afraid of this in our country? How long? How long? Because I'm telling you now, this is part of the reason why I don't want to have children. You think I'm going to bring a daughter into this world when this mongoloid can just follow her home? Look through her window like this? Are you serious? Look at this. Now I know this has become a meme. Oh, ha ha ha, very funny. But it's not funny. It's not funny. I've been to cities over the last few months and haven't felt safe during the day. Now, it would make sense, even if you go back in history, you go back in time, to not exactly feel all that safe during the night, but to not feel safe during the day is another thing. And it's not just London. I haven't been to London recently. It's not London. The issue is much deeper than just a city. The issue is much deeper than just leadership. At the end of the day, our leadership are a bunch of puppets. They're controlled. Even if Rupert Lowe were to get into 10 Downing Street, he would be controlled by the puppet masters, the faceless, nameless suits. I'm not going to say anything. You know what I'm talking about. Our politicians are puppeteered. We're not going to be able to vote our way out of this problem. There's only two ways out, and one of which I do not advocate for. I specifically, I do not advocate for. Right. I'm not going to say that Restore Britain wouldn't be the best party to vote for, because obviously Restore Britain would be the best party to vote for. Obviously. It seems they're going to make the most change legislatively than any other party. But at the end of the day, they're controlled by the synagogue of Satan, the synagogue of Satan, the synagogue of Satan is the one in control of the West and most countries in the world. I'm going to say that one more time. The synagogue of Satan is the one, or the ones are the ones in control of pretty much every country in the world. It is not. The Bible describes. Hold on. Okay. The Bible. It describes the synagogue of Satan as those who call themselves Jews, but are not, but do lie. Those are the ones in control of the world. It is not the Jews. It is those who call themselves Jews, but are not. They actually worship Satan. That is the true people in control. When Kanye and all that talk about the Jews being in control of everything and the conspiracy theorists, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't, they seriously think that they're Jews, but they're not. They're not. They don't seek to worship God. They know that God exists, but they choose to worship Satan and do the bidding of Satan. And through rituals and through sacrifice, they communicate with demons and are given a game plan by said demons who have existed for thousands and thousands of years, who are highly intelligent and understand how to subjugate humanity. They've created a game plan that they are telling the synagogue of Satan, and have been for the last 200-300 years, if not longer. They've been telling them specifically how to subjugate humanity, how to enslave us, both, well, all mentally, physically, spiritually, metaphysically, in every way, sense, and form you could think of. We are being enslaved. If you think it's over now, it's not over. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse until we are ripe, until the human race is ripe. Ripe for what, you ask? Until the human race is ripe for the mark of the beast. We're not there yet. A lot of people think it's happening soon. It is not happening soon. The mark of the beast is, it's not something that is forced upon you. The mark of the beast, realistically, is something that, it is a deep sense of what, like, it's a spiritual form of control, right? So when this system is implemented, the people who accept it aren't going to accept it by force, they're going to want it. They're going to want this system because they have been conditioned to want this system. And that's what the synagogue of Satan is working towards. Satan knows he only gets a short time to rule on this earth. And I mean, in the form of the ultimate Antichrist, the incarnation of Satan. That's what he's waiting for. That's what he's planning for. That's what he is creating the perfect setup for. It's going to be such a perfect plan that the only people who can escape it will be those who are already saved, will be those who have already believed on the name of Jesus for salvation and not trusted in their own works or repentance of sin, just trusted fully in Jesus, in his finished work of the cross to save them. Isn't that funny? It's fucking buffering. Or at least on my end. Anyway, that's what this is all about. It's to break us. This is intentional. It's by design. We are being programmed. We are being broken. I would go so far as to say that they don't want the white race dead. They want us so broken and so cut and so degenerate that we would accept anything. They want to destroy our morals because we are the example. We are the example for the rest of the world, the West. The West. And it has been that way for a long time. We are the example for the rest of the world. Where we go, everyone else follows. They want to break us. They want to mold us from what we were into what they want us to be, slaves. And then the rest of the world will follow. And after a generation or two, that moldedness, that way that they wanted us to be, will be the norm, will be not just accepted, but people will fight for it. It's already starting to happen. And once it's the vast majority of people who will fight, it'll be us disconnected. Only then will the end times truly come about, when we're ripe. And that's what they're doing. And if you can't see it, then you're blind. Sorry.
Why women are the. In other news, in why women are the fucking worst, an MP by the name of Chris Philp went on an adventure to France, where he encountered these charming NGO workers who are responsible for organizing migrants to cross from France to the UK. So let's see. Oh, well, there you go. There's the behavior. Excuse me, miss. Could you possibly stop helping people illegally cross the English Channel? Okay, well, thanks for letting us know how you feel.
So you can see these NGO workers here who
All women, by the way.
have been helping the illegal immigrants
Nasty, obnoxious women.
during their journey. Now very happy, apparently. Guys, est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
No.
It's a public place. It's a public.
And yet, there they are. What's wrong? You don't like being filmed? Committing crimes? Helping rapists into the UK?
Place. It's a public place. C'est un lieu public.
You know those women from Nazi Germany who, at the end of the war, because obviously they sided with the Nazis because they were not only Nazi apologists but Nazi lovers, and they were, tattling on their neighbors and such. You know those women from Nazi Germany, late 40s, mid 40s. You know what happened to them? They got their heads shaven. They got publicly humiliated. They got paraded through the streets. Yeah, those women. We need to find these people's names and we need to hold them accountable when the time comes. Accountable. We need to hold them eternally accountable. Eternally accountable. Fuck them. These women, these ones right here, yeah, we need to shave their heads, parade them through the street, and then can't say because I'm on YouTube. Would you know what I'm hinting at? Like a film, right? You know, when you're filming in the yeah, right. Yes. Right, you go cut, end of scene. Yeah.
N-words making custom MySpace page in 2026. It's bold of you to assume that right-wingers are going to take over MySpace.
When
Okay, here's Rupert. Here's Rupert.
Nigel, when we were both elected at the general election in July 2024, the five of us all knew that we had achieved something truly remarkable through starting the process of breaking the two-party system that has strangled and suffocated Britain for so very long.
Am I the only one who thinks that this whole fucking Rupert Lowe shit is a fucking psyop? I don't trust any shit that comes out of politics anymore. I don't trust it at all. I don't trust politicians as far as I can throw them. It's safe to say I can't throw them very far. Do my little fucking noodle arms. Can't throw them at all. Not even a foot. I don't trust them. I won't trust them. I don't trust you, Rupert Lowe. I don't. This all smacks of a psyop, a psychological operation. It's controlled opposition. I mean, you really think that the people in control couldn't see, like, that most people actually weren't interested in reform, especially the far right, especially the really concerned Brits. They can see, like, do you think that they couldn't see that we could see what reform had become? And I think that itself, what reform had become, was done on purpose anyway. It's all control. Stop watching the fucking circus. Stop paying any attention. Like, at the end of the day, Rupert Lowe, he became prime minister. So what? What is that going to change? That is not going to change a thing. If Rupert Lowe were to make genuine change in this country, he would have to be more hardline than Hitler was in 1938, 1939, whenever he rose to power. He would have to be more hardline than that. The problem in our country, or the problems are so deep rooted that to uproot them would mean that you need to take control. You can't, you cannot sort this out merely by voting. You're not going to vote your way out of this problem. It either has to be Rupert Lowe becomes a dictator, refuses to have any future elections, which is going to cause all sorts of problems if he did that. The grassroots organization buys the country back, all the land, all the property, so on and so forth, which would have to be funded by mass amounts of the population, which is unlikely, or violent revolution. Either way, nothing ends with a happily ever after. The country is completely screwed. Genuinely. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I love my country. I love my country and I love her people. I really, really, really do. I really do. And I hate to say what I'm saying right now, but yeah, we I am not calling for this. I am not advocating for this. I think this would be bad in pretty much every way, shape, and form. But the only way for the right wing to turn the ship around in the way that the right wing wants the ship to turn would be violent revolution or some form of dictatorship. That's literally it. Otherwise, all I can see is this country slowly deteriorating until we are demographically replaced by immigrants and then governed by Muslims, Sharia law becoming common law in this country, and then a dictator is put in place. Now, what happens usually when a dictator comes into power, or when the dictator is in power, full stop, is the majority of the country isn't all too thrilled about it. I suppose with exceptions being like Hitler and Mussolini, but for the most part, when because it will be a communist dictatorship, essentially. At its very base, it will be Marxism, but it will also be Islamic. Islamic men living under Islamic rule are really quite happy to be under said Islamic rule. The women don't get a say. So, if there is an Islamic dictator in this country and this country is mostly Muslim, there will never be an uprising. Most likely, until this country becomes not mostly Muslim again. But if this country becomes mostly Muslim, there will become a Muslim dictator and Sharia law and Muslim Islamic laws, um, and the jizya tax and all sorts that comes with it. And the Muslim men will be more than happy to be under that dictator. They will never revolt. And as I said, the women don't get a say at all. And that is part of what they want. They don't want the white people completely gone. They want us completely cucked, broken, and subjugated. And that's what Islam will do. I don't believe in Rupert Lowe. Sorry. I will vote for Restore, but I don't believe in Rupert Lowe. I really don't. No white guilt. Exactly. White
I want you
people
to
are
ask
loved
yourself
by.
this question and really try to think as to what the answer you would get. What would it take for us to truly absolve ourselves of this crime of being white? What do you think it would take? Look what it's taken so far. What do you think it would take? If they're constantly hopping on about white people being inherently bad and sins of our fathers and blood on our hands, what do you think it would take? If we could get them together and if they could answer as a collective, if we could ask that brown collective, what would it take for you to drop this shit and never talk about it again? What can white people do to truly say sorry and you never bring this up again? You drop the resentment, you never bring this up again, and you move the fuck on. What would it take? And if you don't think it's total, utter fucking annihilation, then you're an idiot. There is no sum of money. There is no benevolence. There is no sharing of wealth, of land, of resources. There is no cultural celebrations that we can throw in their honor. There's no apology that could be written, spoken. There's not a single thing that we can do as a culture, as a race, as ethnicities that we can do to say sorry to these people. What they want is for us dead and for them to keep everything that we made. That's what they want. So save your breath. Don't bother apologizing. Don't bother trying to.
I can keep everything that we made, but at the end of the day, will they be able to actually maintain it? Serious question. Hold on, my OBS has crashed. Sort that out. With them and their low IQs, do you really think, like, seriously, do you really think that they will be able to maintain the systems that we have in place right now? Like, do you really think that's even possible? Like, I could see this country, if it was run by a bunch of Muslims, do you think that our infrastructure would work after 10 years? Seriously, it's a serious question. Or do you think it would be reminiscent of South Africa? As people in the West, as people who live in the UK, France, Germany, Spain, so on and so forth, you know, pretty much anywhere in the West, Sweden and Denmark and whatever, Australia, Canada, America, even. If you look at the systems that keep your country in balance, that keep your country running, and look at who is actually behind those systems, who is behind the innovation, who is behind the maintenance. It is people with high enough IQ that, if you were to play chess against them, you would get absolutely schooled if you and they knew how to play chess. They have a seriously higher IQ than most people living in the UK. But when it comes to the bell curve, now, if you understand how a bell curve works, you have it's a trend, right? So you have people who are really very low IQ and people who are really very high IQ. Now, if you look at the people who are the highest IQ in places like the Congo, in places like Zimbabwe, in places like South Africa, the highest IQ will not be nearly as high as the highest IQ in places like America, China, England, Canada, whatever, very normal civilizations not run by brown people. Um, as soon as they take over, have any amount of control over the infrastructure that was created and previously maintained by white people with higher IQs, it's going to go in the bin, possibly replaced, but with something worse. That's just how it's going to go. That's just how it's going to go. Just look at Birmingham. Just look at Birmingham, right? Complete shithole. Most of the fucking governance is done by people who are Muslim, who are, well, who have ancestry directly tying to Pakistan, to India, to places in the Middle East and, um, you know, Asia, let's say, Western Asia. If you look at Birmingham and you look at the streets, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos, but there is just trash piling in the streets. I mean, there was that one. Now, that might seem a little far fetched to someone who grew up in England and lives in England and is used to this culture, but to someone who grew up in Pakistan or India and is used to that culture and that society, that is not a weird thing at all. In fact, it's very much the norm to see trash everywhere and to see rodents running and scuttling around everywhere. For people to literally shit in the street, just be walking along, oh, well, I need to go. Pull down their fucking underwear and right on the street, right in front of 30 people. You know, that's the societies they come. I'm not even going to get into the other stuff because you know the other stuff, all the women and children and goats and yada yada yada. You know, and paganistic practices like what they do in Hinduism. Yes, we all know it's evil and wrong and disgusting, and none of it should be happening here, including halal or kosher slaughter. It's wrong. It's inhumane, and it's not Christian. At the end of the day, if we are permitting practices that are not Christian, how can we call ourselves a Christian society? We can't. We have actually become a secular society. And it's sad to see. I don't like to admit the fact that we live in a world where Christian countries are rejecting God. Now, I'm not saying that's explicitly why this is happening. There is much more behind it. But nothing happens without God permitting it, right? So if our society were to have remained godly, were to have remained, striving towards, you know, the example that Jesus gave to us in the Bible, which we were for a long time. We were striving towards that to a certain extent. And we've completely given up. We really don't care. We now say, oh, well, if you're pregnant and you don't want the baby, well, then just kill it. Just kill it. Just kill the baby. Ancient Jewish societies would be applauding you for that. Just grabbing a drink.